Hey guys, it's been a pretty long time since I've done anything with my reviews, namely the writing sense, but just generally overall. This was mainly due to a lot of personal things that have happened with my life recently, and not to get into any further detail, but it was mainly depression related, sorry. But while that stigma is mostly gone, I've decided to start back into reviewing again with movies and other television shows possibly. But not just reviewing, but rather making detailed retrospectives in the future, and of course, just your regular vlogs. In terms of the scheduling right now, I'm only going to say that possibly maybe once a month, or maybe even a bit more videos at a time in a month might occur. But again, right now I'm just trying to see how people like you, my audience, and for those of you that are interested in my work, would like to see if you would want me to continue, and of course the quality of the videos will improve more so just because I'm getting a little bit rusty. Now, I honestly tried making a good script on Ridley Scott's The Martian, but I honestly don't know why I can't comment on it further than I can at this point, since I mainly exhausted myself with setting everything up and buying all the necessary equipment needed to get started with this process, alongside going to conventions and yard work, but that's neither here or there. So yeah, who'd have thunk I might be a bit rusty doing this again? You know, it's like I haven't been used to this software in over a year, so you gotta cut me some slack here. Anyhow, that's not why you're here to hear me ranting about that. You're here to want to see if I'm ranting about The Martian. His third best sci-fi film, I would say, behind Alien and Blade Runner. While it may not have the same influence as those other films did, it certainly plays itself straight in a hypothetical situation with what if in the year 2035, Matt Damon playing as Mark Watney, an American astronaut from the Ares 3 mission, is left stranded on Mars. During a maelstrom, Commander Lewis, played by Jessica Chastain, presumes that he is dead once the storm hits the landing site. She and the rest of the crew leave for orbit back to Earth to call the project Snafu until they get word that, of course, he's still alive. Of course, it's going to be kind of hard to just do a U-turn on a multi-billion-dollar space station just to grab one person, and even then it's not guaranteed that he'll still be alive by that point. So the clock is ticking for Matt Damon to get the hell off of the red planet before he succumbs to the elements. In all seriousness, though, I would find that The Martian is probably one of the more straightforward sci-fi movies that I've seen in quite a while. Namely for the fact that it takes a real-life situation that we've seen in other movies before, like Castaway, and of course in real-life events where people are essentially stranded out in the middle of nowhere and they have to do what they can in order to improvise their situation in order just to keep alive, so long as rescue is still coming. In terms of how it is done on a cinematography level, it is very stunningly beautiful, especially with the landscape sequences involving the red planet itself. Granted, I do find that the nighttime sequences do hamper that just a bit, but that's namely just a nitpick. As far as the story is, I do appreciate that it tries to make it in a realistic situation, but because of that, when you are trying to make it pragmatically plausible in terms of a situation like this, it does bog down the pacing a bit. I would imagine that if this were an hour and a half or maybe a 2-hour movie, it would probably be more easily digestible, but this movie does push over the 2.5-hour limit, and with the extended cut, it was even almost pushing it to 3 hours, which I think is a little bit excessive at that point. Suffice it to say, though, I would recommend this highly. Even amongst Ridley Scott's other films, it's probably one of his better works that I can name offhand. Certainly not a classic film like Alien, Blade Runner, or even Thelma and Louise, but I would say that amongst his other work, it's probably better than American Gangster, and certainly better than Gladiator, so I'm giving this movie a B+. I know that this movie is over 2 to 3 years old at this point, but I do still recommend it for anybody that's an avid sci-fi fan, especially in the frontiers of space. Check it out.